Welcome back to the Foundry by Forge College. In our last explainer, Automated Analysis and Tooling, we essentially learned how to let bots yell at us about our code vulnerabilities. Super fun, right? Well, today, we are taking a massive, highly practical step forward in our capstone project. We're designing integration plans for composable contracts. It's finally time to stop drawing abstract boxes on a whiteboard and start building a tangible, runnable baseline. Which brings us to, honestly, the most terrifying question we face as developers. How do we safely turn our beautiful, pristine architectural dreams into actual runnable code? Or maybe more accurately, how do we stop our smart contracts from immediately exploding the second they try to talk to each other? Think of it like building a house. You don't just pour a ton of concrete and pray the plumbing miraculously connects, right? You test the wiring first. And that is exactly what we are doing for your Web3 system today. To get there, we've got a quick 5-step agenda today. First, from architecture to code. Second, defining component interfaces. Third, building the scaffold. Fourth, running smoke scenarios. And finally, documenting for next steps. It's a strict blueprint to ensure absolutely nothing falls through the cracks. All right, section 1, from architecture to code. Let's translate those concepts into code. Our main goal right now is to translate those abstract diagrams of yours into a runnable project increment. Enter the integration scaffold. By definition, this is a minimal baseline that compiles, links components, and proves your modules can interoperate. And crucially, it does all this without the full business logic. It's literally the essential plumbing of your app. By building this framework first, we expose structural mismatches super early. We want to catch those annoying errors long before we waste days writing complex algorithms. Moving on to section 2, defining component interfaces. This is where we define our boundaries. So to lay down our wiring, we need actual blueprints. As you can see, we have 3 main components here, and each one gets a dedicated interface file. The core registry maps to iregistry.sol for lookup and metadata. The policy engine gets ipolicyengine.sol to evaluate registry pointers, and the external adapter uses iadapter.sol for data ingestion hooks. This canonical mapping basically acts as the bridge between your diagrams and reality. Now, here is a strictly non-negotiable rule. Keep your function signatures minimal and be completely explicit about mutability. You are defining the absolutely smallest possible interface, or ABI, for cross-component communication. If a function only reads data, mark it as view. Seriously, do not add just-in-case parameters. The tighter you make your interface now, the fewer massive migraines you're going to have during integration later. Okay, section 3, building the scaffold. Let's construct the baseline. It is time to build with what are basically the cardboard cutouts of our code. I'm talking about stub implementations. A stub is just a minimal, deterministic placeholder contract, and it's used solely to ensure your ABI matches and your components link up. Think of these as the crash test dummies of your system. No brains, no complex logic. They literally just sit there returning hard-coded values so we can make sure the seatbelts hold during a test run. And adopting this structural focus completely changes your workflow. Looking on the left, stub implementations are minimal and entirely predictable. On the right, full business logic is complex, it mutates state, and, well, it breaks things. By isolating these phases, you completely bypass the absolute dread of early compiler errors. You lock down the structure first, and you mutate state later. Simple as that. Let's look at how this builds sequentially into a runnable environment. We've got a really simple 5-step assembly manual for standing up your local hard hat toolchain. 1. Create interfaces. 2. Create your crash test stubs. 3. Write a bootstrap deployment script. 4. Create smoke tests. And 5. Use AI. Honestly, you can literally ask an AI assistant to scaffold out the boilerplate from your documented method names, which is going to save you hours of typing. Let's double-click on that bootstrap script for a second. Your bootstrap.js file is your ultimate wiring tool. It deploys your 3 stubs locally and then records their newly generated addresses into a JSON artifact called deployed_addresses. This right here is where dependency injection happens. It's like taking the live address of the registry and passing it straight into the policy engine's constructor. That way everyone knows exactly where everyone else lives. Next up, section 4, running smoke scenarios. Time for testing the connections. So, now that everything is hooked up, we need to send a small spark through the system just to see if the connections hold. That is what we call a smoke test. It's a very basic interaction test, validating component linkage, again, without any deep logic. If we send a simple read request to the registry, does it make it through without throwing a nasty ABI mismatch error? If yes, awesome, the structure is sound. How do we know we've actually succeeded? Well, here is exactly what good looks like in your terminal. Your scaffold is officially stable when compilation succeeds with 0 missing references, your bootstrap script cleanly deploys all the stubs, your JSON artifact is created, and all 3 of those smoke interactions pass perfectly. Once you hit these checkpoints, your scaffold is locked in and ready to scale. Finally, Section 5, documenting for next steps. Let's write the manual. Look, building a great system is all about clear communication. You absolutely must write the manual so your human teammates and any AI tools you're using can read your blueprint. Create an integrationplan.md file right at your project root. In it, record your interface assumptions, your mutability rules, and exactly how addresses are injected. This is a crucial, highly professional practice we emphasize heavily in our advanced Forge College programs to help you avoid incredibly painful late-stage rework. If you take away just one core philosophy from this entire explainer, let it be this golden rule right here. Define the smallest possible ABI that satisfies cross-component communication. Honestly, tattoo it on your arm if you have to. Following this guarantees your modular contracts remain cleanly separated, highly secure, and incredibly easy to maintain. Getting this scaffold right perfectly sets you up for the next step in your curriculum. Our next lesson is integrating components and debugging interactions. That's where we'll exercise deeper patterns, hunt down cross-contract revert causes using stack traces, and finally start replacing those dummy stubs with real implementations. Believe me, you will be very glad you built this solid foundation first. So, I'm going to leave you with this. Are your composable systems built on a rock-solid, well-documented scaffold? Or are you just hitting deploy and hoping the API magically matches? Stop hoping, start scaffolding. To dive deeper into these concepts and really master Web3 development, be sure to visit forge.college. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep building smart, and I'll catch you next time.